Okay, wild card weekend, super wild card weekend, even as they're hyping it up. We've never had this many NFL playoff games in one weekend before. Although this is going to be the new normal, so get used to it. So why not? I'll do some picks and so that I can look stupid afterwards. So let's see. Saturday, first game, Bills hosting the Colts. I think Bills win that one pretty easily. I mean, the Bills are just crushing people going into the playoffs. The Colts barely got in. Um, I think the Bills might go to the Super Bowl. It's either them or the Chiefs. But yeah, I think the Bills win that one fairly easily. Maybe not a full-on rout, but it'll be a pretty comfortable win. Then the second game was what was the second one? Oh, Seahawks Rams. We still don't know. I don't think who the Rams quarterback's going to be. If it's going to be Goff or it's going to be that Wolford or Wilson or whatever the hell his name was. Who, they won last week to get in, but come on, if the Cardinals have Kyler Murray for that game, the Rams don't win. I can't trust the Seahawks on a week by week basis. They just have these games where they just screw up and they fuck around and they barely win or they lose. Games they shouldn't lose, like they lost to the Giants at home. I think if Seattle puts it all together, they can go to the Super Bowl, but it's hard to trust them. I do think they'll beat the Rams, just because of the uncertainty at quarterback. But it'll be close. It'll probably be closer than it should be, even if it's the other quarterback for the Rams. And then the night game Saturday is the Washington football team hosting Tampa Bay. And if you think the NFL is going to let the Washington football team beat Tom Brady in a primetime spot in a playoff game, then I got some magic beans to sell you. That's not even going to be a contest of a game. There's no chance. Washington's defense is all right, but and Mike Evans might not play. But come on, there's not a chance in hell that the NFL allows an upset in that game to happen. So Tampa will move on. Sunday, the early game is I believe the early game is Tennessee-Baltimore, which I think is going to be a really good one. That might be the most appealing game of the weekend. Tennessee went into Baltimore and beat them last year when they were 14-2. They were the number one seed. People kind of forget that because the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl, but they weren't even the number one seed. It was Baltimore, and then Tennessee went in there and basically dominated them. Two teams are kind of going in a little differently this year, though, because Tennessee was really on a roll going to the playoffs last year. They've kind of stumbled a little bit at the end. They had that complete no-show at Lambeau. And Baltimore has been just on a roll. They've been killing teams. They had a little struggle in the middle of the year because COVID was kind of screwing them up. But Baltimore is probably right up there. They're probably the third best team in the AFC. At the moment. So I don't even know if it's an upset. Baltimore might be favored, but I would pick Baltimore in that one. I think they're going to get it done. I think they'll finally get their first win of the playoff win of the Lamar era. And then the second game is Saints Bears. Bears backed into the playoffs, and they've got injuries, and the Saints have injuries too. But the Saints are at home, and the Saints, they're not playing us, so they can probably get by the first round of the playoffs. So I don't know that that'll necessarily be a rout, but I think the Saints will win that one fairly comfortably. And then the Sunday night game is Cleveland-Pittsburgh. Look, Cleveland's going to win. There's nothing. Pittsburgh has played one good quarter of football in like the last 6 weeks. They're not going to just suddenly now beat Cleveland, even with Stefanski missing the game, and even a couple of other Browns players are out because of COVID. It's not going to matter. Pittsburgh has gone just in the tank, except for the fourth quarter against the Colts. They've been in the tank for a month and a half. So I don't think they're gonna suddenly flip it on and beat the Browns. I think Cleveland hadn't been in the playoffs since 2002 when they lost to Pittsburgh, and they haven't won a playoff game in Cleveland since Belichick was the coach. So, but I think that's going to change. I think because Mike Prefer, Mr. Nuke the Gays, Mike Prefer, he's going to be the coach for the game. But I think they're going to win, even though it's in Pittsburgh, and Roethlisberger will play this time. And last week was really close, even without Roethlisberger. But as I was saying, I think Pittsburgh's really screwed up by treating last week like it really didn't matter. I think they shouldn't have let Cleveland in, and now Cleveland's going to end their season. So those are my picks. So now it's what? Buffalo, Seattle, Tampa on Saturday, and then Baltimore, New Orleans, Cleveland for Sunday. So let's wait and see how wrong I am.